Good morning.
Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Please rise in body and or spirit and join us in hymn number 392, Hine Matov. Something like that.
Okay, 292, it's Hine Matovu Manayim, Shevedachim Gam Yahad. Hine Matovu Manayim, Shevedachim Gam Yahad. Hine Ma'atov Shevedachim Gam Yahad, etc. Okay.
Y'all got that? Welcome. Bienvenido. My name is Lori Douglas. My pronouns are her and she. I have short white gray hair and I'm wearing a black and white shirt and black pants. I am your host worship associate for this service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County. I'm excited to say that we have guests today here from the UU Church of Fort Myers. Yay. I will begin by introducing my cohort, Melissa Caballero.
Good morning, friends. My name is Melissa Caballero, and I bring greetings from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fort Myers. It is a joy and an honor to be with you today as your guest of worship associate. Though we come from a different congregation, we share one spirit of love, justice, and community. I look forward to weaving our voices together in worship and in hope.
Today is the first day of Hanukkah, which means dedication. Today we celebrate the rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem during the 2nd century BC, when a small group of Jewish rebels known as the Maccabees defeated their oppressors against the Greek Syrians against overwhelming odds. To rededicate the temple, the Maccabees had to light a menorah, like the one in the front, and that would burn in the temple at all times. However, they only had enough pure oil for one day. The legend says when they lit that candle, and all those candles, the oil burned for 8 days, leaving time to find a fresh supply of oil. And it's the legend that it just kept going. Yay. Today, we will join in that celebration as Margaret and the choir will be singing some wonderful Jewish music, as you've already heard a little bit. Please feel free to join in as you are able. Each week, we gather together by singing an invitation, even as we are scattered in many different places, and whether our sacred space be virtual or live. For those of you watching from home, even though we cannot see you, you cannot see all of us, do know that you are also an important part of this community. Whatever your faith or the country of your heritage, whoever you are, whomever you love, you are welcome here. Whether you skipped in or shuffled in or wheeled in, you are welcome here. Whether you're brandy new or you've been an active member for years, we are delighted that you chose our congregation to be here today. I'd like to mention a few items that will make our service run a little more smoothly. We're being broadcast live on YouTube, and the recording will be available on our YouTube channel, UUFCC YouTube, after the service. Consequently, for privacy concerns, it is our practice to use first names and last initial when necessary. That is when we remember last initials. This is a good time to put your phones in meditation mode. We do have hearing assistant devices available in the back by the tech team. And for those with us virtually, perhaps watching in your fuzzy slippers, you may wish to have a chalice or candle available for your own chalice lighting at home. Now it is gratitude time. We're thankful for all of the dedicated people who make this service and community possible. What will we do without Andy and Sandy in the office? Our music director, Margaret, our choir, and our cast of volunteers, decorators, cleaners, greeters, the board, goodie providers, kitchen folks, Aheen, Trudy, and Betty. Tech wizards, today Tom all by himself. Wow, this is impressive, Tom. And of course, those of you who are here today, whether in person or virtual, and those who have come a long distance, like our folks here from Fort Myers. So, if you can, please take a moment to greet those around you. Take a peek who's there, say hello. Hi. Hi.
I can greet you again. Not you. Hi, Ted. Yeah. Hi.
If this is your first time here, or you're returning from some time away, please stand or wave in body or spirit and state your first name and where you're from so that we can welcome you. Hi.
Hi, I'm John. We're down from outside Philadelphia. We live here in the winter. We're members of the Mainline Universal Unitarian Church up there, and we're pleased to join you down here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I've been here before, but you want me to do it? I'm Lisa. I am your second helping speaker. I work at Charlotte County Public Schools for the Families in Transition. I've been here. I'm honored that you let me come back. I think it was last year, the first year of Hanukkah, that I was also here. So I really appreciate learning a little bit about. I didn't know that about the oil. So this is, and I love how welcoming this place is. So I feel very good here.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Good. Thank you, Cheryl. If you've not already, please take the opportunity to meet one of our members or friends following the service. And if you're new at home, you can wave to us too. And if you'd like to learn more about our fellowship, please contact us at uufcc.org or speak to anybody in this room. Thank you. Oh, we have a great website too of the same, office at uufcc.org. Close. All right, we'll now have our opening words with Reverend Art.
Grand Rising and good Sunday morning, everyone. It is so wonderful for me to be in this glorious worship space once more. I am honored and quite pleased to be serving today alongside UUCFM Worship Associate Melissa C. If I may, I would like to read aloud a poem simply entitled Hope, as written by Rosemarie Watala Traumer. It reads as follows. Hope has holes in its pockets. It leaves little crumb trails so that we, when anxious, can follow it. Hope's secret is that it doesn't know the destination. It only knows that all roads begin with one foot in front of the other. If you are physically present today, know that you are loved and know that you are welcomed. If you are virtually present today, know that you are loved and know that you are welcomed. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Now for the chalice lighting. We light this chalice in audacious joy because today two traditions meet, which is Advent and we also have Hanukkah, flame of light. Hope laughs with us, fire warms us, and community carries us forward. These flames remind us that whether one candle or 8, whether purple or pink, the light grows brighter when we share hope. So let us kindle this chalice, joyful, radiant, and resilient, a spark of hope that refuses to quit. Now, while AJ and Zach is lighting our chalice here in the sanctuary, and those of you home light your chalices, please join me in reciting our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another.
And Zach or AJ will come up and do the menorah.
Thank you. Now we're going to go for the story of all ages. Where are our young of heart? Where are our kids? Or our adults with young hearts? Here they come. Okay. So this story, oh, there we go. Come on. Yes. The more the merrier, right? There you go. Well, thank you. I hope you like this story. So this story is called The Little Candle That Could. Once upon a time, in a box tucked away on a high shelf, lived a group of candles. They were waiting for their big moment. Hanukkah was coming soon. Each candle dreamed of shining brightly, but one little candle worried. "I'm too small," it whispered. "My light won't matter." The other candles chuckled kindly. "Don't worry," they said. "When the menorah is lit, we shine together. That's what makes the light grow." The first night of Hanukkah arrived, and the family gathered, singing blessings, and the menorah was brought out. The little candle was chosen to stand tall beside the shamash that helped the helper candle. And as the flame touched its wick, the little candle flickered nervously. What if I go out? What if I'm not bright enough? But then something amazing happened. The family leaned closer, smiling. The children clapped, the room filled with warmth, and the little candle realized even the smallest flame can chase away the dark. And night after night, more candles joined in. And by the 8th night, the menorah blazed with light. And the little candle thought back to its first flicker and laughed. "I was afraid of being too small, but hope is audacious. It dares to shine even when it feels impossible." The story of the little candle reminds us of something important. Hope doesn't wait until we feel big or powerful. Hope shows up in small acts, sharing a smile, speaking the truth, helping a friend. Hanukkah teaches us that one day's worth of oil lasted 8 days. Our chalice reminds us that light grows when we share it. And what's the moral of the story? That even the smallest act of hope and courage can make a difference. And when we shine together, our light grows stronger. and the audacity of hope becomes unstoppable. Thank you. And now we now invite the youth to gather in social hall. Now please rise in body or spirit again for number 221.
Yeah. Maura, did you tell him it's in the great hymnal? That's mine.
She said 221.
We have a long tradition here at UUFCC of sharing our joys, sorrows, and life milestones by entering them into the book of life. These messages can be written in the Red Book, which lives in the back of the sanctuary and will arrive in the hands of Lee.
Nothing for today.
Okay, nothing for today. All right. Those at home are welcome to email your entries to the Book of Life at UUFCC.org by Saturday. We also embrace the tradition of dropping the stones in the bowl over there. The water symbolizes the community, and the stones represent your joy or sorrow or milestone. I will now invite you to come forward over on the side here and drop a stone either in silence or share briefly aloud. There will be time for announcements later in the service.
I have a sadness that I expect a number of people do this morning, that this weekend there was the shooting at Brown University and also in Australia, and that this just continues. This violence is so sad.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike. Robert called me last night, and he asked me to give you his regards. He's flying back today. And anyway, he sent an audio, which I think I'm going to play here. I'm going to try.
Youngblood, that's Zombie on 107.3 Alternative Cleveland. Good afternoon, I'm Carrie Dean.
This is his daughter or his granddaughter who runs a radio station out in Ohio.
Sure, and I got to take a moment to thank the Cleveland Clinic. Not only are they just world-renowned, but they took such good care of my grandpa Robert yesterday. Long story long, my grandpa came to Ohio. He lives in Florida, but whatever. He came to Ohio. He knew Cleveland Clinic was going to take good care of him when it came to his knee replacement. He needed the replacement of the replacement. He's a very active guy, all right? And they said, well, we can't do that until we fix your heart. He didn't even know he had a heart problem. Anyhow, a few months go by, they get some things worked out, and he went in, and my grandpa, he is a recovered alcoholic. He's 42 years sober, and he doesn't do any kind of medicine or anything, and he went under the knife with just a topical anesthetic, and they replaced his pacemaker in his heart, and they took such good care of him. He was awake the whole time. He's crazy, I know. Anyway, Grandpa Robert, I love you. Cleveland Clinic, I love you. Thank you for taking care of my family so well. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Anyway, he had his pacemaker, so now the right and the left heart are in sync, which he describes as marriage, by the way. And anyway, he's flying back tonight, and he'll be back. Okay.
My name is Dennis, and I have a joy. My daughter, Katie, will be arriving at 6:32 tonight, and I haven't seen her for months and months and months, and the house is over-decorated for her.
Reverend Art, would you put a stone in there for us?
Of course.
Thank you. Finally, the last stone that Reverend Art places represents the unspoken joys and sorrows and milestones in our hearts. May we hold these and each other in love and tenderness, so that this fellowship may become and continue to be a source of hope and strength for all of us. Thank you. Take a few moments of reflection.
Today we are blessed to welcome Reverend Arthur Levon Jones III. Born and raised in Thomasville, Georgia, Reverend Arthur now serves as minister and worship leader at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fort Myers. He also offers spiritual care as a chaplain with Hope Healthcare in Bonita Springs. He and his wife, the Reverend Jenny Scott Jones of Iona Hope Episcopal Church, are proud parents of 2 young children, David and Harriet Hazel. Reverend Arthur brings to us not only his ministry, but also his joy for family, community, and justice. Please join me in warmly welcoming Reverend Arthur Jones III.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Melissa. I paid her to say that. The audacity of hope. The hope in audacity. Individually and collectively, I am all but certain that we know what hope is. We know what hope does. But what about the word audacity? The word audacity is a noun, and it has dual meanings. One meaning in the affirmative and another meaning in the negative. The affirmative meaning of the word audacity, according to the Oxford Language Dictionary, is defined as a willingness to take bold risks. To that end, let me share with you a personal story about audacity. Sunday, November 11th, 2018. I remember that day oh so well. On that particular Sunday, my now wife, then girlfriend Jenny, and I were driving the short distance from Houston, Texas, over to Galveston, Texas, to do some skydiving. I love Jenny for countless reasons, but a primary reason is Jenny's audacity, her willingness to take bold risks. Audacity led Jenny to live in India for 3 years, to live in New Zealand for 5 years, and to live in Canada for 5 years, and to spend several months as a missionary in America Samoa. Audacity guided Jenny to learn biblical Greek, Hebrew, Spanish, and Bali in addition to English. Oh, she's American. She grew up in Pennsylvania. Audacity is the reason Jenny has run marathons and triathlons all over the world. And audacity fueled Jenny to go on 122 separate skydives in her adult life. She has been jumping out of planes and off of hot air balloons at day and at night, in cold weather and in warm weather, since she was a teenager. It's a family thing. Her parents skydive. Her 2 older sisters skydive. She even has nephews who skydive. That Sunday, November 11th in 2018, Jenny surprised me with a gift. She booked and paid for us to do tandem skydiving out of a Cessna plane over Galveston Bay. It was my very first time ever skydiving. It was everything I expected in advance. It was also nothing I expected in advance. Jenny and I arrived early that day at Skydive Galveston. We were booked to both do a tandem jump with 2 on-staff skydive instructors there. These guys were awesome. They were the best. They were as professional as they were muscular. It felt like a sequel to the movie Point Break, if you've ever seen that movie. In no time, our instructors had us suited up, stretched out, and coached up in terms of what to expect. Shortly thereafter, we were climbing into the Galveston courtesy van, driving the short distance from there to the Galveston airport. Minutes later, we jump out of the van, and we were walking on the tarmac to the Cessna plane that was waiting for us. Now, I was well aware at the time that we weren't doing this, but it definitely felt like the 4 of us were all walking in slow motion. We were all wearing shades, We were as cool as a cold drink on a hot summer day. As we climbed into our plane, we greeted our pilot and we took our places on board. I was fully immersed in the experience. I kept expecting to feel nervousness, fear, second thoughts, but all I felt was excitement. I was happy. I was grateful. Now, I freely admit that I thought about our parachutes, the primary parachute and the backup parachutes. I'd be lying to you if I didn't hope then that whoever packed our parachutes had had a good day and wasn't distracted and was good at their job. But those thoughts disappeared in my head almost immediately. The four of us prayed on that Cessna, and we talked, and we laughed, and we joked around. The original plan was for us to cruise at 9,000 feet and jump from there. But that Sunday's weather was so perfect, so clear, so bright, that our pilot decided to take us higher. The new revised plan was for us to jump from 13,000 feet instead. The pilot shouted out to us that it was time. At 12,000 feet, we rolled ourselves into position. The Cessna's plane jump door opened. Jenny and her tandem jump partner went first. They stepped out on the jump ledge of the plane. Her jump partner asked her aloud, "Good to go?" She smiled and nodded her head. And just like that, they jumped. And then it was my turn. When I stepped out on the jump ledge, I looked over to my right. 40 miles away and far below us, I could see the entirety of the Houston, Texas skyline in miniature. I looked to my left. I saw Galveston Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. When my jump partner made eye contact with me, he asked me, "Good to go?" I shouted, "Oh yeah, let's do this." In that instant, I remember thinking to myself, if my parachute opens, that's cool. And if my parachute happens to not open, that's cool too. Everything was all right. It was all good. I recall the joy I felt. I recall the hope, the inner peace. Seconds later, we stepped off the ledge. We were falling. We were flying. My skydiving adventure that day remains one of the very most spiritual things I have ever experienced. To that end, I will preach today from the sermonic topic, the audacity of hope. The audacity of hope. Please allow me to briefly lift up 3 points for your consideration. First point, hope is courage crystallized into reality and tangibility. Hope is what hope does. Hope requires agency. Hope demands optimism. Hope facilitates courage. Being hopeful means taking action to bring about something meaningful, something positive. It is not enough to be a bystander. It is not enough to be non-committal. The audacity comes into play when you have something near and dear at risk, when you have something precious to lose. This is especially the case when our loved ones are potentially affected. In situations when we might not act for ourselves or speak up for ourselves, we will typically take action and or speak up for our family members, for our friends, and for our community. In cases when we might be willing to take a loss for ourselves, we are entirely unwilling to allow those we love to take that very same loss. When you stop to think about it, hope is actually courage. It takes courage to have dreams, aspirations, and inspirations. It takes courage to acknowledge that you have peaks and valleys, joys and sorrows, hopes and fears. Because sharing these things with others makes you vulnerable. Sharing these things opens you up for rejection and ridicule from others. A little bit of courage can go a long, long way. Just as a little bit of hope can transform our home, transform our community, transform even our world. If we infuse our words, our actions, and our interactions with hope, we are crystallizing positivity and purpose and making those things real, making those things tangible. We should do that whenever possible, however possible, wherever possible. Second point, hope is a co-equal partner and collaborator with gratitude. I won't deliberately annoy any of you by singing Hope and Gratitude Sitting in a Tree, Kissing. That would be incredibly childish of me. It is noteworthy, however, that hope and gratitude are in alignment. They are equally yoked. Where you find one of those, you almost always find the other in close proximity. Consider the game of baseball. At spring practice, the very beginning of a new baseball season, hope springs eternal. Every single Major League Baseball team, at least on paper, looks like a contender in February. Every fan of every club genuinely believes that this year their team can win it all, that their team will win it all, in spite of all the trades, all the injuries, all the new players arriving, and all the existing players departing or retiring, and so on. That hope propels them to buy season tickets, to purchase team merchandise, to watch their team's games on television, and to cheer their team on season after season, come what may, in victory and in defeat. Go Eagles, by the way, John. That hope brings gratitude, and gratitude keeps the fans engaged. Hope is a co-equal partner and collaborator with gratitude. Hope is a warm wish framed in an expectation that whether it's an hour or a day or a week or a month away, something good is on the horizon. It's the notion that something positive is on its way to us and for us, courtesy of the divine. Hope feels good. Gratitude feels good. They both feel good because they are co-equal partners and collaborators. Hope could be and should be willfully chosen by all of us as a rule of life. And that brings me to my third and final point. Just like faith, hope is optimism as seen through the frame of a focus on the future. You must have some capacity to be optimistic in order to be hopeful. Cynics can be optimistic and hopeful. Stoics can also be optimistic and hopeful, but it might be a bit more difficult for them. Conversely, it is much easier for optimists to be hopeful and optimistic. That's just my unsolicited, not so humble opinion on the matter. Optimism isn't simply the story of someone somewhere strolling through life while wearing rose-colored glasses. Optimism isn't confined to a narrative of someone somewhere choosing to see a glass as half filled rather than half empty. Optimism is a deliberate choice to actively see the positivity in everyone, everywhere, in every situation, and in every interaction. Hope is optimism. Optimism is faith. Faith is gratitude, and gratitude is grounded in love. All of these noble aims exist for each and every one of us in the present. All of these things will be available and accessible for us and our children and our children's children in the future. Hope and optimism and faith and gratitude bind us together. They make our hopes and dreams and realities interwoven like fine linen. I cannot rise unless you rise. You cannot succeed unless I succeed. The late, great Muhammad Ali once said this: he or she who is not courageous enough to take a risk will accomplish nothing in this life. That man, that boxing champion, was the epitome of the audacity of hope. If I can jump out of a plane at 13,000 feet while falling or flying, depending on your point of view, at terminal velocity, 125 miles per hour, with a smile on my face and joy in my heart, then there is nothing stopping you from first conceiving and then achieving your own personal milestones. If my wife Jenny can hike mountains in the Southern Alps, in the Himalayas, and in Alaska, both by herself and with her friends, then there is no obstacle too big and no challenge too daunting for us to overcome. Now is the time for the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County to take some big swings. This lovely community is the place for your congregation to take some big chances in your pursuit of big things. In doing so, you will be ensuring sustainability and stability for this congregation well into the future. You could do great things without fear of either failure or success. You should aspire to be bold instead of cold and tall instead of small. No more kicking cans down the road. No more deferring your dreams. No more delaying your destiny. I am not at all suggesting that you should think or speak or act from conceit. No, I am humbly suggesting that you should think and act and speak from confidence, divinely inspired confidence. At present, I do not know very much about the origins of this congregation. I do not know a lot about the individuals, the visionaries who came together to establish and maintain this sacred space way back when. But I do know this: your founders came together and gave generously of their time, their talents, and their treasure. Their efforts resulted in this campus and this sanctuary. Your founders humbly did that in honor of the source. They did that for themselves and for their families. They even did that for you and for your families. Beloved brothers and sisters, you can do no less. It is your turn to dream as they dreamed, to build as they built, to invest as they invested. You must pay that forward. Your time, your talents, and your treasures can ensure that this glorious place not only survives, but thrives. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, and beyond, individually and collectively, you have that power. You have that choice. So be audacious. Be ambitious. Live fully in the affirmative. It is my fervent hope that as you expand, as you evolve, as you grow, that you will consider the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Fort Myers as your partners, your colleagues, your collaborators, your family members just down the road. Seers see, thinkers think, and builders build. All of those visionaries are right here, right now. You have the Almighty, you have each other. The only other things you want and need is the audacity of hope, the hope in audacity. Blessed be.
Thank you, Reverend Art. That was really motivating at a minimum. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, we needed that. I needed that. We needed that. That was excellent. Yes. We'll now have the offering. What timing? Yes. What? Oh, yes, I got all excited, and yeah, she's gonna do that in a bit. She's gonna do that in a little bit. She was a little later, but go ahead, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I figured we would do this now. Lisa, I'd like to introduce Lisa. She's the program manager of Families in Transition at the Charlotte Schools. And she's going to tell you about what she does and what services are rendered there. And thank you. Please welcome Lisa.
Thank you. Your presentation was wonderful. So I'm not as wonderful as a speaker, but I feel like it really is fitting because when I talk about working with the families in transition, which are homeless students, we try to inspire hope. You know, that is what we do, give them some stability and hope and a future. So it really is a good thing to follow. I loved your story. I'm not going to jump out of a plane. My daughter did when she was 18, and she talked about it for years. We did it on her 18th birthday, and although she said she liked it, she has never done it again. So, but, you know, I can't believe I let her do it at 18, but she talked about it since she was 15. So off we went, and then I just said, I'm too overweight to do it. And I'm still not thin enough, and I'll never be thin enough. So I really, you know, your bravery is, you know, I couldn't do it, but thank you. So anyway, my name is Lisa. My pronouns are she and her, and I've got a blue dress on with white flowers. And thank you for welcoming today. And you have had me back. I think this is my third time, so that is really very, very special. And I want to begin by acknowledging something many families in our community are experiencing. Why we are fortunate not to have hurricanes this year. It's been a difficult couple of years for everybody in Lee County and Charlotte County. So we've had a good year with it related to the weather. But some families are still struggling, even with Ian way back when. So I'm still working with families affected by the storms. But also, many families are still struggling with high rental costs, evictions, job instability, and a lack of affordable housing. So many families are living one crisis away from losing their home. And families that maybe would never have thought they would have been found in that position. Now, when housing becomes unstable, it doesn't just affect the adults. It deeply impacts children and their ability to be connected to school. And so the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act is a federal law that protects students experiencing homelessness. And homelessness doesn't look like we may expect. It can, but it also can mean sharing housing due to economic hardship, staying in a motel or a shelter, or living in their car, or maybe in a dwelling that's not suitable for living, maybe like in a storage shed or something like that. The law exists to remove barriers to education and ensure immediate enrollment, school stability, and transportation, so children can continue learning despite housing instabilities. Now, in our district, the Families in Transition program is how the McKinney-Vento comes to life, because the word homelessness is so off-putting, and people are like, I'm not homeless, and so I want to support the kids. So I want to be positive about it because they're in transitional housing. Our role is to remove barriers so students can focus on learning, not surviving. This includes transportation, school supplies, clothing, hygiene items, tutoring, and enrollment support, and connection to community resources. And then other things I may not think of that might be a barrier. I want to share a brief story with you. There's so many stories, but one that is most recent and has been quite something I've learned with all the hurricanes. Is I was working with this family that had two siblings that were attending school, and they got displaced. And while they were able to get transportation to school, they had a lot of other factors that they weren't really sharing, and they came to school with dirty clothes. And, sometimes I know we actively work to prevent bullying, but, kids can be cruel. So, they were very distraught. Now, we did help them, and we changed the clothes at school, but they were so mortified that maybe the kids would know that. But luckily, through donations and the support from places like this, we were able to get the kids some new clothes. But also, a bigger thing that we got was, they didn't have a washer and dryer to do their clothes. And now there is the shelter where you can go get laundry done, but it's once a week. I think, especially if you're not living there, and it doesn't always fit with people's work schedules. So I have gone to purchasing laundry cards, which is probably the biggest request I get is these laundry cards, because even when people get housed, they never have washer and dryers in them. That's what I've found most recently. So that is a big request I have, and laundry soap. I buy laundry soap a lot. So we're able to give that, got some new clothes, gift cards so they can pick out the clothes, because I think that's important for kids, especially to be able to pick out a nice outfit, and then laundry cards to keep the clothes clean. And I think that experience, we were able to provide also some hygiene items and support. And then we kind of hopefully turned the moment of embarrassment into dignity. And these students, they stayed engaged and enrolled, and they're more connected to school, because I think they knew by saying something that we were able to help them. So federal funds, they help cover some of these things, but it doesn't cover everything. So when we have donations, it helps us to meet the real life needs, like the laundry soap and sometimes food insecurities, especially with the whole thing where the food stamps kind of got on a pause for a minute there. So, they do get free breakfast and free lunch at school, which is good. I also, through donations, I put money in the kids' lunch accounts, especially for the older kids, because they tell me the food's not enough. And then maybe so they can buy a snack, like a cookie, because that's not free. So I do that with a lot of donations, a lot more this year. Field trips, so students are not left behind. I buy some books at the book fair. School supplies, tutoring, and any necessities to help them fully participate in school. Because the goal isn't just that they come to school. I want them to feel like they belong and to fully engage and participate in all the activities. So that is kind of what I do. And while children experience housing instability, the world already really feels uncertain for them. But your generosity of all donors and even some of the state funding helps restore stability, dignity, and provides hope. Through your support, students are reminded that their community sees them, values them, and believes that they belong. So I really thank you for all that you're doing, for your caring and your giving, and I hope students thrive, because they are our future. They definitely are our future. And I try to instill the value of education and maybe break that cycle sometimes that I see where it's the same. It's families that, I've been with the district over 20 years. So I've got some families, I am a social worker, but I do the families in transition. So I've got one family that I'm working with, but I worked with their parents when they were in elementary school. We do have a lot of success, and I'm working on trying to remove some barriers, but it also isn't the Charlotte County that I moved to 20 or 30 years ago. It's much more expensive to live here. And so that does, if you didn't buy a house 30 years ago, it's pretty hard to do it now. I think it's probably the same in Lee County, but I really appreciate all that you're doing. And if there's any questions you have, I'll be staying after the service, and I'm welcome to talk to anybody. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. As most of you know, in our tradition, congregations exist because of the generous support of members and friends, and the same with local community groups that we support. It's our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. To this end, your offerings to support our ministry, whether by pledge or donation, may be offered online also. If you haven't pledged before, you appreciate this community, consider a pledge of any amount, because it helps us plan ahead. If you have questions about this, see Shelley, our treasurer. Don't. So today, we're going to be having a second special offering for the families in transition. Now, several ways you can give. You can drop your donation in the baskets that are being passed around by the greeters. You can mail checks to the office, drop them in our mailbox, or you can call to make other arrangements. We are also equipped to accept donations at UUFCC offering through the Venmo app. Your generosity is always appreciated, but if you're here for the first time, no need to feel obligated to give. Your presence is our gift. We're going to have first the offering for the community here, and then second for the families with the school. And we're going to have a offertory music for you. Should we do that first? Or you're going to go ahead? Okay, come on ahead. Okay, and then we'll have the offertory. It will be called In December. This is the first one for the UUFCC here. Mhm. Now it is time to highlight our UUFCC's special events and activities. Your UUFCC updates await you in your email on Thursdays. These are a great resource which includes all kinds of dates and events and stuff in the community and stuff that happens here and stuff at through UU associations or what's happening in Fort Myers when we hear about that. There we go. We also have a wonderful website chocked with full of information at uufcc.org. Thanks to our web weavers who are both here today. One over there that doesn't want to be acknowledged, and one over there that probably doesn't want to be, that likes to be acknowledged. Yay, purple. 2 Lauras, yay. Check out that website because it changes regularly. And if you would like to have fellowship events highlighted during the service, you can mail us to bookoflife.org. Email us. Today I have the following announcements. One, I'm thinking about your sermon a bit. We're going to have a parking lot sale in January. It's kind of like a garage sale, but it's going to be a parking lot sale. Okay? And we're going to be hopeful and excited about it, right? Yes, right? We're going to be excited about that. Okay. So start searching at home for your treasures that you're going to help us fundraise with. Okay. Other announcements? Yes.
I have 2 announcements for you this morning. Remember, we're still playing bingo this month. So if you have your bingo card, you need to keep working on it. Joseph isn't here this morning, but he'll be here at the end of the month. Give your card to Joseph when you've finished it.
Stay here.
The other announcement I have is Lori has invited our guests from Fort Myers to go out to lunch, and we would love it if you would like to join us. We're going to Chef's just across the street.
All right. Oh, another one. Yay.
Good morning, I'm Randy G. with the Social Justice Committee, and we have our meeting today. We can keep it short so we can get to lunch. And I just wanted to say that the highlight of that meeting will probably be that we are going to be in the Martin Luther King Parade again on the 19th of January, and I volunteered myself and 11 others. I hope I find those volunteers. Okay, and 1 vehicle. So 4 can ride a vehicle, so that's a plus.
Thank you, Randy. We'll get another one.
One more, please.
Okay.
So I talked to Stephanie this week, and she wanted me to drop a stone for her, and I forgot. So she's still stuck in Cape May. She hopes to be at the services this coming Sunday. On another note, I sent an email out to a bunch of people that I thought were committee chairs or heads of committees, or had an interest in what this fellowship does, because I'm putting the dreaded budget together for next year. So if you can, one, respond to me when you can about how much money you think you need, and kind of break it down just in pieces a little bit. I'm not asking to micromanage this, but just enough so I understand if you're asking for $1,000, I go, for what? I know what it's for. But I also wanted to just bring this up because I think this is an important thing for our fellowship, is to ask yourself, what is important to you? Is it social justice? Is it gay rights? Is it all of the above? I only could come up with 2 in the top of my head, so sorry, there's very many more. And in order to do that, we need to fund those organizations so that we can be the support that they expect us to be or want us to be, and that we want us to be. So think about that very carefully, and give your input to, say, Randy would be one. Social justice has got to be right way up there. PFLAG's got to be right way up there. Campus is right, all of the things that we do in immigration and justice and stuff like that is right way up there. And so is, and I'm not going to discount veganism, because that's a very important part of our fellowship too, in terms of what we're interested in. So I'm sorry to drag this on, but make sure that we fund the things that are important to us, because if we don't, we're nothing more than standing here and talking about it. All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Shelley. Also things like, electricity and little things like that. Air conditioning, we're in Florida. All right, very good. All right. Would you like to join us with the closing words?
May the audacity of hope carry us beyond this hour. May the light we kindle here shine in our daily lives. May joy remind us to laugh, community remind us to love, and courage remind us to act. Go forth in peace with hearts open and spirits resilient, for hope refuses to quit, and so do we. Please join me as we extinguish the chalice with the words in your order of service. Okay. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May those ideals warm our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace.
Thank you. We're now going to have, everything's in the gray hymnal in case you hadn't figured that out. Please join us with hymn number 14 in the gray hymnal called 415. Thank you. Havenu Shalom Aleichem. We'll now have a benediction by Reverend Art. And when we're finished with that, remember to join us in the social hall or outside on the patio for conversation and snacks. And those who want to are welcome to join us over at Chef's Restaurant, which is right around the corner.
Before I do a benediction, just very, very briefly, I would ask for your prayers and your warm wishes. I am traveling down to the Everglades Detention Center today for the weekly prayer vigil. It is the 21st consecutive one. I think today will be my 12th one in attendance. So please lift us up if you would. Thank you for that. Benediction. And now unto the great Spirit who keeps us from falling and presents us faultless before the presence of its divine glory with exceeding joy. To the Creator be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forevermore. Blessed be.